Hey, today we're at Bug Juice Gardens, and we're going to talk about how to put one of these planters together. And the first thing I always tell everybody is picking a pot. And so we've got one type of pot here planted up, but you know, you don't have to stick to a pot. We've got this wall hanger back here, which makes a nice little display, you know, hanging up on the wall. Just remember, anything you hang on the wall, you're going to have to water it. Is it going to bake in the sun? So you have to keep that into consideration. And also a door hanger. We call these tin pockets. So you've got this as well. So anything that you can put soil in, you can be creative for your imagination. So now that we've got a pot chosen, we want to talk about some great, lightweight, fluffy potting soil. Now this is one brand that I recommend. There's a lot of brands out there at the home and garden centers. You just want to make sure it's light and fluffy. Like I can feel this bag, and it really is light and fluffy. If you get something, and maybe it's a big bag, but it's really heavy, that's not going to be a good thing for your pot. So be picky and let your dollars judge your potting soil. So if it's kind of expensive, that's probably some good soil in there. Don't get that cheap stuff unless you've never had a problem with that. And if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But otherwise, light and fluffy. Now look, let me show you one little process. What is this? Everybody says, what is that? It's a dryer sheet. And the neat thing about what am I going to do with this, before we put the potting soil, the light and fluffy potting soil, in the container, we're going to put this over the hole. In the past, I've heard a lot of people take clay pots that are broken up or gravel, but sometimes that clay pot and gravel can move a little bit and clog that hole, whereas if you'll take this dryer sheet, you just put it over the hole, put your potting soil in there, you're not going to have any problems with that hole clogging up, so that's a good thing. And let me show you this as an end result to once we have all this done. This is sheet moss, and you can see it in this pot right here, is we've taken this and you put this around the edge of your pot. And you do that because, one, it looks better than just having your potting soil exposed, but it also helps retain moisture, so when the sun does come out, it'll help keep this thing moist instead of drying out. And when you water the plant or the pot, all the potting soil is not going to come over the edge, but it does make it look good for aesthetics, and it does another function. It keeps moisture in there. And of course, in this big old wall planter here, you can take that sheet moss and just stick it all in the front, and it gives you a nice decorative look to it. Now, some of the things that we can use, you can use a whole lot of things. And I've seen people use pots, and they'll just have one type of pansy, one color pansy in there, and that's fine if you've got a grouping of pots and you're going to change them all up. But I like to make each pot a little different. And so we use, this is one type of plant, it's called a chorus grass, and it comes in this color, it comes in this color, and we like these, as you can tell down in this pot where my hand is, and when the wind blows, it gives a little shimmering effect going on, but it gives me some height for the pot. And then, of course, we'll start choosing some pansies. And look at the big old face on that pansy. Then you've got violas, so which is a smaller face, but again, it gives me a little bit difference in the use of the plants. And again, we're not stuck with just one plant. Now, I got something right here. I love these. These are snapdragons. And right now, this time of year, they're blooming. And then when it gets colder, they're not going to bloom. And you'll come in and you'll just deadhead these, and then what you'll get is you'll have that in probably January. But then again, when the weather starts warming up again, you're going to have these one more time. So it's nice to put these in the middle of your pot or maybe to the side. It just kind of depends on the size pot that you have. And one other thing I want to mention is, look, you've got cabbages and you've got some kales and you've got mustard here. Again, these are some things that you can put in with the coarse grass and the pansies to make your pot stand out and give it some different textures. Lots of things you can do with pots. So I say just let your imagination go and just have fun with it. And if you don't like the pot you created, create another pot.